Hello friends, my name is Michelle Fondin. I'm the author of Chakra Healing for Vibrant Energy, exploring your 7 energy centers with mindfulness, yoga, and Ayurveda. And welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to talk about a really special topic that is going to segue into a whole other video series with a new playlist. And it's something that has been all a buzz. It's actually something that is in my personal journey, in my personal life. And as you guys know, I am always sharing with you guys what is happening on my personal journey and discoveries and new teachings and things that happen to be unfolding in my life and in my spiritual journey as we go through this process together, because it is a process. It's never just zoom into an outcome. It's always a process. So we're talking about the shift in the new paradigm, the new spiritual paradigm. It's the shift from fear into love. Fear into love. And this shift is not something new. In fact, Jesus first brought this shift to earth about 2019 years ago, give or take a few years. Jesus did bring this shift. It's just that we have lost sight of that shift. Our human egos, our humanness, which is centered in fear, has prevented us from embracing this concept of love that Jesus brought to earth. And so now God is creating this new paradigm. Now, of course, God is omniscient, omnipresent, ever-knowing. Of course, this has been planned out forever since the beginning of time. So it's not anything new, but it's new to us. So we are in the midst of this humongous shift. And as I mentioned in a few videos ago, when we talked about spiritual awakening, when we talked about angels and reincarnation and light workers and earth angels, it's just that throughout time and throughout history, if you're versed in Bible studies, if you're versed in the Old Testament and into the New Testament, there are stories throughout time and time again in history, where we as humans are given full reins in our free will choices, and then we don't make good choices. Go figure. We make very self-centered choices, selfish choices, ego-based choices as a whole, as a collective. And as we make these ego-centered choices and we forget about God and we forget our own divinity, historically, God has sent down a prophet, has sent down a messenger, has sent someone to stir up the pot a little bit, to stir things up and say, hey, y'all are going in the wrong direction. And so throughout time, if you've read, like I said, if you've read the Bible, Old Testament to New Testament, there have been stories and prophets and time again where human beings have kind of messed up the place, and God sent someone down to say, hello, you guys need to move away from what you're doing and move into a new direction. And that is exactly what is happening here now with this vibrant energy and this collectivity, this collective energy and this spiritual awakening in what is happening. With anything spiritual, it can be really difficult to say, like, show me the proof, show me the proof, show me the proof. This doesn't make sense. I think you're just, speaking these words and it doesn't make any sense to me. And all I am trying to transmit to you is that these messages have come channeled to me and to other spiritual teachers and leaders. And as I mentioned in a few videos ago, if you just Google the words spirituality, spiritual awakening, new paradigm, in YouTube, you will find tons of videos of teachers saying the exact same thing. Because when information comes channeled from divine consciousness, from God, it kind of comes as a wave of information, and it doesn't just come to one person anymore. Perhaps in the past, before internet and TV and before YouTube, that it came to a prophet in a desert, in a burning bush somewhere. But now, nowadays, when we are trying to all, as light workers, elevate the general consciousness of the collectivity, it tends to come to many of us at the exact same time. And so that's why you're seeing the expansion of these talks of spiritual awakening. And that is exactly what this shift is designed to do. It's designed to create this shift, create this pull into love from fear. And we've seen so many things that are fear-based, from world religions and wars and political unrest and political leaders who are not operating from heart-centeredness and from a love-based consciousness, but rather an ego-based consciousness. We've seen this in people, in the tribal mentality of groups causing separation and strife and unrest and uneasiness, and things like even the degradation of families with the divorce rate so high, and family separations, and just all of these things. And it's all that fear-based energy that is creating these divisions, that's creating these upheavals and unrest. And when Jesus came down to earth, I mean, he had this message of love, and that is the message that we are to bring to raise the consciousness of the collectivity. So when Jesus left, he basically said, love one another as I have loved you. And that message is so true to who Jesus was as he walked the earth. He didn't judge. He didn't come out and reprimand people, and he didn't say you're doing everything wrong. He came and showed by his example, through his stories, his parables, by his healings, by his teachings. He went to those who were hurting the most. He went to those who were the poorest of the poor. He went to those who were uneducated, who didn't have anything to their name. He went to those who were strangers, who were rejects of society, who were suffering, who were sick. He went to those people first. Those are the people he went to in order to show the example of unconditional love, in order to show the example of unconditional forgiveness, unconditional compassion, unconditional empathy, unconditional understanding, and this deep-rooted understanding of we are all divine beings on this planet, and that we are commanded by our Creator to love. We are commanded. And what have we done for the past 2019 years since Jesus ascended into heaven? What we have done is we have created more fear and less love, more division rather than unity. We've created unrest and uneasiness and judgment and separation, and all of these things that Jesus came to repair. We have exacerbated all of those things into fear, which has created more of what Jesus came to heal. So we are in the midst of this shift. We're in the midst of a humongous shift, because God has said enough is enough is enough is enough. Enough. It's time. It's time that you guys got the message. It's time that you brought back to earth the love that Jesus brought to earth. And we're going to do it together as a collectivity. We're going to do it together to bring meaning and purpose and unity back to earth once again. And it's really funny, because when this message came to me a few weeks ago, and also the message to talk about my new series, which I'll talk about at the end of this video that we're going to focus on, when this message came to me, it was really intimidating, because, and I'll talk about this in my next video too, that it was really intimidating to me specifically, because I felt not ready to talk about this type of message, and I felt that I didn't have the tools necessary to speak about this type of message, and I felt that I just wasn't the leader that would speak about this message. And again, if you go back to the Bible, if you go back to all the prophets from the Old Testament, none of them felt ready. None of them, absolutely, positively, none of them felt ready. Moses had a lisp and a speech impediment and a stutter, and he didn't feel like he could speak to Pharaoh to say, let my people go. And so he begged God to please let my brother go with me and let my brother speak for me, because you know me, I can't speak well. And God was like, no, you can do this. You can do this. You can do this. And Moses was like, I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. Bring my brother with me. Send my brother with me. And so God finally relented and said, sure, okay, I'll send along your brother. But ultimately, it was Moses who became the voice of the people of Israel to lead them out of Egypt. So it's even Noah. I mean, Noah in the ark, the infamous story about Noah building the ark is that everybody thought he was completely insane, crazy, nuts, out of his mind building this humongous ark. And he even would go back to God and say, are you sure about this, God? Are you sure? Everyone thinks I'm totally nuts. And God was like, yep, I'm sure. So not that I am to the caliber of Noah or Moses, but I was too feeling that I wasn't prepared and I wasn't ready to speak about these topics. And God chooses us at moments in our lives when he said, yes, you are ready to do this, when we feel the least ready to do it. And here's why. God does not want you relying on your ego in order to deliver a message that he wants to deliver. So the more certain you feel about your capacity and your ability to do something, you're operating from ego, because you're like, yeah, I've built up my self-confidence. I've read all I can read. I'm good with this. I can deliver this speech with no problems or issues. Then it's your ego speaking through. But when you feel the most unsure about your message and you're not sure if you're well prepared or well equipped to deliver the message, then if you're open to God's message in you, then it is truly God speaking through you and transmitting that message to others. And that's what I feel is happening today, now, and in the messages to come, because I feel so ill-equipped to do that, because I feel so unworthy, not in the sense of shame, because I never want you guys to sit in shame or guilt or all those negative emotions which are going to pull you deeper away from your life purpose. But I mean unworthy in the sense of humbled by the fact that I have this opportunity and this outlet to be able to deliver this message of love to you. I've not always operated from a field of love. I have been working toward that to get better into the field of love. And I trip and fall many times in my path and on my journey, and it happens. It still happens today. And so it's not about perfection. And so many of you have come to my channel dealing with alcoholism and addiction, and one of the phrases that my alcoholic loved one actually reminded me of was progress, not perfection, which is an AA slogan. So even in your spiritual journey, even as you're shifting from fear into love, it's progress. It's not perfection, but it is keeping your eye on that ultimate goal of loving one another as Jesus loved you. And the way Jesus loved you is that he took everything onto himself. He took all of your sins, all of your faults, all of your ego onto himself. And he sacrificed himself for you. And he was without flaws, without sin, and he still is without flaws and without sin as a representation to show you what unconditional love is. And that is what we are shifting toward, and we need to shift toward that. We must shift toward that unconditional love. We must shift toward that unconditional giving, compassion, loving, being merciful, being compassionate, being forgiving, and not thinking of life as division and me versus you, but us as moving forward together on this journey. So that gives me the segue to my new video series within this channel. And that new video series is on a topic that I have learned about in the past 5 to 6 months, and more recently in the past few months. And that topic is the twin flame connection, the twin flame relationship. Now, if you're sitting here in front of this video and you have absolutely no clue or no idea what I'm even talking about, that's okay. I didn't know 6 months ago either. I knew the notion, I knew the term, I had no idea what it meant actually. And that movement, the twin flame connection movement that is happening now at record and lightning speed in 2019, it must be addressed. There are many, many YouTubers out there and many people out there, bloggers and vloggers, who are experiencing this and who have experienced this and have this connection to a twin flame energy. I'm going to say energy right now. I'm going to explain it further in future videos. And who have been able to share their process and share their journey with others who are going through the same thing. Now, you might be wondering, like, how in the world is this directly related to this spiritual paradigm shifting from fear into love? And I will tell you, the twin flame connection, the twin flame journey is exactly that. It's exactly how, in a big way, we're elevating the consciousness of the world. And it, as in any spiritual topic, I will tell you this right now, as a meditation teacher, I am telling you this. As in any spiritual topic, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make logical sense. Some of it will, but most of it won't. You're not going to understand exactly what it is and how it is and how to even perceive it unless you're going through it. So that video series is specifically for those who are actually going through a twin flame awakening, a twin flame connection, a twin flame union, and all these words that we're going to define and talk about in the next 10 to 12 videos or so. So my message to you is to sit tight. If the word twin flame does not resonate with you, and that's not even a part of your journey right now, that is okay. I promise to you that once these videos are out, and they're necessary to be out, I've been checking in with my angels and guides who, again, asked me several weeks ago to come out with videos about this topic, and I was really, really reticent, and I was very hesitant, and I kind of held back. And I would check in with my angels and guides just to see if the timing was right, because timing is everything. And so today they finally said, yes, the timing is right. It's time to come out with this now. Okay, here I go. Totally ill-equipped and unprepared, but I'm doing it anyway because God is asking me to do it. And when God asks you to show up, you show up. And if you don't show up, God will make your life very difficult until you show up. And I'm done with the difficulty. Like, I don't want my life to be difficult in that way anymore. In that way where you're showing resistance to God. And I have shown resistance to God in the past when I've said, you know what, I'm not ready. I don't want this. I don't need this. No. And when you say no to God, like I said, He'll respect your no, but there's going to be a whole host of crap that is going to show up in your life to get you back on your path. So for me, my path is here. My path is now. My path is talking about spirituality to you guys. It's about the spiritual paradigm that's shifting from fear and going into the spiritual paradigm of love and unconditional love. And for now, the spiritual paradigm is talking about twin flames and the twin flame connection. Again, if that's not part of your journey now, and it may not be a part of your journey in this lifetime, that's okay. Go back. I have 227 videos up on YouTube. Go and view those videos for the next few weeks while I get this series out and review those videos. There are 227 videos for a purpose and a reason, and there are playlists up there for your specific topic that you're connected to. And then once I get this video series up and running, then I will go back to kind of following the trajectory of all the books that I've written on health, healing, and wellness. So thank you so much for joining me. Please subscribe to my channel below and hit the notifications bell so you can get notifications of my upcoming videos that come out. Please share this video with friends, family, and your yoga dog. Thank you for pledging your support on Patreon. Completely thank you enough for your pledging your support by buying a book or several books or sharing the books with friends and family to help get this message out. And again, chakra healing is not about chakra healing in and of itself. It's a tool, an outcome to help to get you toward a spiritual awakening. It's to prepare you, to get you ready. So if you would like to support me on Patreon, it's www.patreon.com/Michelle S. Fondin. And if you'd like to buy a book, all of my books are available on Amazon. The Wheel of Healing with Ayurveda and Chakra Healing for Vibrant Energy are available at barnesandnoble.com. So thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you in the next video.